Hiya guys, and welcome back to A's Workshop, and this is going to be part 4 of the Stuart S50 model engine build. So yeah, I think we've done 3 episodes on the base. There's not much to do on it now, so we'll probably finish off the small details on that today and maybe get on to another part of the model. So anyway, enjoy guys. So now that the bolts have come in and I've got the appropriate taps, I've just picked up that hole. So I'm going to now drill and tap it for 5BA. The drawing calls for 4. Didn't have any 4BAs at the time. The nearest thing I had was 3mm. And 5BA, 3mm is a bit close. So yeah, 4BA. So I'm basically going to open up the holes, the tapped holes and the clearance holes in here to take 5BA. Tap it 5BA, and I'm going to spot face the top of this as well. So what I'm going to do is go around doing the drilling first, and I'll set the datum position for all the holes. Then I'll come around with a spot facing drill or a milling cutter and spot face them all to the identical depth. Well, that's the first one in and tightened down. I haven't spot faced it yet to give it a nice flat surface to sit on. I'm going to do that, repeat the procedure for all 3, and then take them out again one at a time and spot face the tops to get them to sit nice and flat. So I've just come to spot face the last one of the holes, and my 1, 2, 3 block, 1, 2, 3, that's a big 1, 2, 3 block, my 2, 4, 6 blocks in the way, so I'll just pull that out of the way. It's served its purpose now. Okay, so just a little spot face. Probably go a bit faster than that. Try not to get in your way. Just looking for a circular cleanup on here, and I'm back on the datum where I drilled the hole. Just a tiny bit more to clean up all the way around. Can't quite see. Well, there's a few little spots there. We'll have them out of the way now. Okay, that's done it. So I forgot to turn the camera on, but I've just done one of these bolts, replaced it and drilled and tapped 7BA and put a 7BA bolt in, and I've decked the top of the little sort of platform that the bolts were sat on. I don't know if these were meant to replicate washers. I don't think so. I think it was a sort of bossing or upstand bossing embosses on the casting, I think originally, for the bolts to sit on. So the bolt head's a bit thinner than the ones, the originals, but certainly looks the part now. And I'm now that I've done that one, I'm certainly going to do them all. Wait, right. Just come down to a touch on that bolt head. Make sure we're not fouling anywhere. No, plenty of space. So the little platform that the simulated bolt is sat on has a radius all around the outside edge, so I can deck the platform and leave the radius there. So I've got a machine surface or a spot base perhaps for the bolt head to sit on when I put a real bolt in. And as you can see, just tickling across the surface, removing the bolt just about there, a little bit more. I just want to flash clean that surface. And that is done. So bring the cutter out of the way. I just need to work around that a little bit. It's just missed, it's only a 6mm cutter, just missed the rear surface there. So we can take the cutter out of the way now. Let's come down for another touch. I'll take another little scratch. Okay. Make sure I got it all. I have. Okay, now I can take the cutter out of the way. So yeah, I'm going to eyeball the centre of that pretty circular platform actually. Eyeball the centre of it in both directions, and we shall drill and tap a hole. Okay, looking good. That's the centre drill in. Now the drill for this is 2.05. I've said before I haven't got a 2.05 drill. I've got a 2mm drill and I got a 2.1. It's not functional, it's purely a cosmetic, so we're going to go with the 2.1. Make it easier for tapping. Why not? I won't tell if you don't. What am I running at? 1300 RPM. Okay, it's actually drilled right through the casting, so at least I'm not doing a blind hole. So yeah, tapping. I've made myself a little tap wrench. So basically the 7BA tap fits up in here. It's drilled. I measured it 2.75 diameter. So I drilled a 2.7 hole and it slipped in there quite well. 12mm deep. I've drilled and tapped M5 grub screw in the side. And at the same time, I put a knurl on. And at the same time, I put a centre on the top for the tap follower, the spring-loaded tap follower. So I can basically put my tap follower up, bring the tap follower into the top of that, and just by turning the little brass knob, which is holding the tap with the grub screw, I've got a very gentle feel on the tap. So that's the way I'm going to go about it, and I'll probably make myself some more of these for, you know, for the smaller sizes and the little tiny taps. You really can get control. I used it on the first one and it was brilliant. So tap that hole now and put a bolt in. I've just realised that I haven't shown myself actually tapping a hole with this little tap wrench. So yeah, I've got my tap follower in the top, spring-loaded tap follower. 7BA, I can just place the tap follower. A little bit of tension. Okay, so that's all lined up now nice and square. And I normally use my left hand for this. Not cutting much at the moment. There we go, we're getting into the taper now. So yeah, just gently. I got, as I said, a lot of control doing this. I can feel it going down in without any issues. It's only actually about 5mm thick, this, if that, maybe 4 or 5mm. Again, just tapping it dry. There we go. It's come off the tensioner and that's it, it's done. So I'll just hold it by the base of the tap to keep it true so I'm not biasing the tap at all. Just unscrew it. Being careful on the last couple of threads. Okay, there we are, one hole tapped, 7BA. So I bought a set of BA spanners, 6-piece set from OBA to, or 0BA I should say, to 11BA. Very cheap, eBay, forget where I got them from, not important, they're all over eBay. As I say, full set of spanners. I didn't have any BA spanners. When I did those base bolts, I was using a good old tiny adjustable, which I don't like. But yeah, so 7BA spanner, and just nip those bolts down. They're going to be coming back out when it's painted. But yeah, it's nice to have the right spanner for the right job. I think these are the smallest spanners other than sort of toy ones that I've got now. Just nip them in. That's it. So yeah, worth getting. I'm not saying it's only on this sort of work that I'm ever going to use these little spanners, but yeah, I've got them. So I haven't replaced all the fake bolts that hold the two parts of the castings together. The fake bolts for the bearing caps I'm also going to replace with some real bolts. So my first step is just machining off, there should be about 0.1 to come off here, machining off the existing heads, cast heads. Just got a 6mm cutter up for this, going into the same depth until they clean up. So I've done the back one and the front one now. I'm going to swap round the other side, use the same settings in Y and come into a centre point in X. So that's those two done. So yeah, I've just drilled and tapped. This is the last hole to tap. I've never used one of these spring-loaded tap followers before, and I've got to be honest, it's a game changer. I was lazy, I've got enough projects on as it is, and bought this one. It's a micro, let's have a look, I've got the packet here. A micro spring tapping guide, and yep, micro spring tapping guide, here we are, and it's from Arc Eurotrade. Now, yeah, not everyone wants to go out and buy one. If you follow Blondie Hacks, Quinn there does a little series on making one of these, I think a larger one and maybe a small one, I don't know, with the male point and the female point, but well worth a watch. Yeah, it's a game changer. If you haven't got one, especially for small stuff like this, you know, this is, I mean, I have got like M2.5 taps, that sort of size, which I suppose is around the 7BA sort of mark, but you know, don't use those very often, but certainly for keeping your tap in alignment while you're tapping, and that extra security. I mean, you've only got to have a slight wobble of the hand and you'd snap a tap off like this. I'm actually tapping these ones to the full depth of the tap. Just need to bring that down a touch. But yeah, check out Quinn at Blondie Hacks. Great little feature on making a spring-loaded tapping guide. And as I say, I find it a bit of a game changer, really, for small stuff. I've always used, you know, block of steel with a hole in it when wanting to get square threads. You know, a tap guide or tap bush, that sort of idea. But yeah, for small stuff, highly recommend it. You've got so much more control, especially when you use it alongside something like this little, basically tap wrench, or button tap wrench, I'll call it. So yeah, aids button tap wrench. So I've got these little BA bolts, 7BA, to go into these holes, and as you can see at the moment, we'll keep in Imperial, they're 1/2 inch. Quarter would have been better for me, or 5/16 maybe. Look at me talking in Imperial, but quarter probably would have been better. But what I need to do is cut them down. I'm not going to buy some more. I've got more than enough for what I want to do for this little job. So yeah, I want to cut them down. So we're going to go off subject for a minute and just find a quick, dirty, easy way to shorten those bolts. So I got my vise set up on the end here where it will fit and I can reach it. I'm just going to get a milling cutter, and it's only a scrap piece of aluminium section here with a saw cut on the top. I'm going to deck it down to 6mm. So I've got a little 6mm cutter, the one I've been using, so I just as well stick with that. So I'm just going to change over in the collet. Let's get the right collet. Put the collet in. Put the 6mm cutter straight in, and I'm going to deck that across to 6mm thick first of all. So, get my spanners. We'll be coming back into shot in a moment. Where am I? Okay, set a 0 there on depth, and there we are. Let's just have a quick check. Should be. Come on, out you come. 6.1. Okay, so I think drill and tap a hole now. 7BA in there. We'll have a little bit of WD-40 on there, I think. So I flipped it round sideways in the vise, the part. We'll call it the part, the jig, the fixture, whatever. Yeah, flipped it round sideways and upright. Let me just get one of these bolts started. Okay. I'll just screw that in by hand. My fat fingers aren't used to tiny little bolts. I have days when I'm fine with it and other days where, having worked with my hands all my life, my arthritis kicks in and everything feels stiff and doesn't want to play cricket. So we'll put the bolt in. We'll make sure it's tight. Okay. Now, just to save time, a little piece of plastic, protect my vise. Junior hacksaw, shouldn't take more than a few strokes. There's a little bit out the way, we don't want that. I've already set the cutter up, so it's sticking out maybe 2mm out the back now, maybe 1mm, and I'll just very gently mill off the remainder, flush with the aluminium block, and that's the part done. I've got the back end bit to hang on to now. I'll have to just get it loosened. So we've got a nice flat end on the bolt. No speakable burrs. I mean, I could go round the end of it and just deburr, but there's nothing. Nothing there. And I nearly lost it. There we are. 6mm long. I don't know if I showed the shaft in position. This is a piece of quarter silver steel, and it's just literally, I can feel slight resistance. It's, yeah, I mean it's a lovely fit. So I've been putting this off till last because I hadn't made a decision. But the final job on the casting, you can see I've got all the bolts in place now, is to drill little oil holes. Now the drawing calls for, bear with me, 3/64. 3/64, according to my good old Zeus book, is 0.0469. Well, 0.0472, which is, you know, not half a thou bigger, is a 1.2mm. So I've got a centre drill up with a 1mm pilot. I'm going to centre drill the pair of them, and then I'm going to go through with that drill, what did I say, 1.2mm. I'm sure I did. I'm losing the plot today, guys. Yeah, 1.2mm. Let me pull that drill out now. Ooh. There, 1.2mm. I'm going to pop that drill right down through into the bearing, right through the bearing into the bore. And then I've been looking at oil cups. I don't know what they plan for you to just dribble a bit of oil in the top and let it run. I don't know, but I'm going to make some oil cups. I'm not going to buy them. Stuart Models do sell them. I'm going to make some just to make it fun because I can put my own sort of slant on it. And I think my oil cups are going to have, looking at that size of thread and the hole in the top of there, they're going to have 5BA threads on the end of the oil cups. So I think that will do nicely. So let's get on and drill these holes. Uh, 1500 RPM. Just picking up. I've already preset the place or position in the casting. Central over the bore and central front to back in the bearing cap. And this centre drill has a 1mm pilot on it. Okay. So it's been a while since I've drilled with drills this small. Can I get this in the middle of the truck first go? Think we got him. So what are we doing? Yeah, 1500 RPM. I should be going faster than this, but that would mean changing the belt over, and for 2 little holes it's not worth it, because I always use it in the low range, the mill, more often than not. Being very careful. I think I'm in the brass now. Bronze, I should say. There we are, we're through into the bore. I was very careful not to touch the far side. We will have to put the reamer back through when we're finished. So that's that one. I think I'll set a 0-0 there now. The drawing calls for 7/8 centres, so I can literally just move over 7/8 and do the one on the other side. So I've just had a little measure, and from the very top to the point where I want the drill to stop before it hits the brass, or the bronze, keep saying brass, 5mm. So if I set the point on that rule, which is 1mm, set a 0 on my quill, I know I can drill down 6mm deep with a tapping drill for the 5BA. That's 4, 5, 6. Okay. I just need to set a reference for that hole, bear with me. If I go to incremental, set 2 zeros. Done. Back to absolute, because I know this one was on 0. Okay. Alright, and this one as well. Let me just check this depth is similar, or very similar. Should be reading 0.05 millimeters, so 6mm deep with this one as well. There. Okay, so I'm going to top those 5BA, and that's the base completed, other than a bit of tidying up. There we are, guys. I think we'll put a little bit shorter one up this week, and I think that's about enough for this one. I did say we'd get on to making something else, but I think it's a good point to call the episode to an end, as pretty much the base plate is finished. And I don't know whether you agree or not, but I think the improvements by removing the little cast hexagons or artificial bolts and replacing them with real bolts, I think that adds to the detail of the model anyway, because it is a model, and models are supposed to have lots of detail, and that helps, I'm sure. Okay, that said, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for subscribing, and we'll see you all very soon. Cheers now.